Datamation, and our topic today is the future of cloud computing and the future of IT itself. To talk about that, we've got three great experts, including Greg Knieriemen, Chief Evangelist with Hitachi Data Systems. Hey, Greg, how are you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me, James.
And remind me where you are located, Greg?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland,
I work
Ohio.
out of Santa Clara, but live in Cleveland.
Okay. I grew up in the Midwest myself, and I realize it's really the only place to be from. I don't tell people that, but that is the truth.
Well, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Also with us, Scott Sanchez, Director at Cisco, OpenStack Strategy. Hello to you, Scott.
Hello, hello. Happy to be back. Thank you.
And we know you're there in Austin. That's very cool.
Cool and warm today. So
that's okay. You're driving your convertible earlier today.
We make up for the Texas summers with the winters.
Very good. And Dana Gardner is the analyst and founder at Interarbor Solutions, pundit guy, IT expert. Hello to you, Dana.
Hello, James. Good to be with you again.
And I know you're in the Northeast. Is it snowing heavily there already up in that area?
No, it's been unseasonably mild, and we haven't really had any severe weather at all. So not sure what's going on. Maybe El Nino's going to be good to us this year.
I mean, the benefits of global warming. Who knows?
Right.
I don't know. Yeah. So, I mean, we've heard about it. I've read about this on the internet. Apparently, IT is actually dead, believe it or not. It's going to be, we're all going to log in with our smartphones, to a remote infrastructure. No company is going to need an IT department anymore. IT departments are apparently very 2004. They're passé. IT is dead. So it's a huge change, and it's pretty cool. Greg, are you hip and trendy enough to be on board with this whole IT is dead thing?
Yeah, I think, James, it creates attractive headlines and clickbait, I think. But the reality is that IT is never going to be dead. It's here with us. And that doesn't mean to the detriment of cloud, but IT is going through a transformation just like every significant business is going through a transformation right now. So this shouldn't surprise us. It's not unusual. It's going to look different, but IT is not dead.
When you say look different, what do you mean?
Well, I think obviously as newer technologies come along, there's going to be a blend of legacy applications and legacy systems, and I think there's going to be the blend with cloud services, and that could be public, private, hybrid, managed services. It's going to take a lot of different forms. It's not going to be just a simple one-size-fits-all model as we emerge. It's definitely a transformation, though.
And actually, one short tangent I must go down. When you use the word managed services, it also can be a synonym for private cloud in some situations, correct?
It could very well be, yes.
Yeah, which leads me to believe private cloud is not dying or going away, but that may be another discussion for another day.
Yes.
IT is dead. Scott, I guess it's all shadow IT now, or is it, we just log on with our credit card to AWS and that's all there is?
I've been saying that shadow IT is the new IT, rather than IT is dead, which we can all make clickbaity headlines, and I do believe the headline of this particular episode we're all on was titled that.
It's one of my most clickbait headlines, and I feel pretty proud about that. I mean, Huffington Post has the best clickbait headlines, like how does weight gain depress your puppy? But I mean, is IT dead is up there with that.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of like the BuzzFeed headline of cloud, but no, shadow IT is being legitimized, right? It's not shadow IT anymore when the senior leadership of the company is knowingly funneling you the money to do it, right? It's come out of the shadow, and I think cloud and a lot of these initiatives have enabled the lines of business to have actual legitimate IT budgets and legitimate projects that are coming out of the shadows for a lot of reasons.
But is it shadow IT if you've got budget and it's structured and it's executed in a way where there's oversight and control?
Well, that's my point, is that it's no longer shadow IT when it's designed to be there. I think the difference is what we're starting to see is IT in the traditional sense of we have this team over here and it's central IT, that there was this blurring of the lines. It was like, well, there's IT, and then there's everything else that we do that we don't tell IT about, right? And that was the shadow IT part. And now it's not so much shadow anymore. It's sanctioned by the people who want companies to make money and be profitable, right? but there's a different purpose to it, right? This IT team over here might be the ones working on, adding machine learning to our mobile app to do X, Y, or Z. And that's different from central IT, who's going to keep all our stuff secure and make sure our email works and make sure that employees can do their jobs properly, right? And so the role of IT is switching.
Or even when the IT operation itself is shifting to non-IT players, like line of business owners now are taking control of their CRM tools and the different resources that they're using. I think yesterday that would have been considered shadow IT, but now this is kind of how business gets done.
Yeah, they would have had to do it in the shadows because there might have been a CRM tool that they were being told or forced to use that wasn't meeting their needs, and they had to go out and do something to supplement that, and that was the shadow part. And now it's okay. Like, central IT might run the customer database, but how you use that data is paid for by an IT project that the line of business might run, and that's that split that leads to headlines like, "Is IT dead?"
You guys are saying the shadow IT has gone from being a bug to being a feature.
Right. Yes. I mean, there needs to be a new term for shadow IT. Shadow IT is vaguely negative. I mean, what is it now called? Now that shadow IT is no longer really shadow IT.
Well, now they're proof of concepts. So you find what's working in your company, and then you let them make the mistakes, and you blame it on them, and then you centralize it, and you fix the small things that need to be fixed, and it's a fine new company-wide activity.
Right.
Now, this was the case with PCs 25 years ago, right?
Explain the analogy to me now.
And then wireless, and then mobile. I mean, there's always been a shadow IT creeping up on enlightened IT over and over again. These are just waves. These are just patterns that we've seen before. It's not dead. It's simply an adolescent, and it's got mood swings. I really think that IT is in many ways immature, not at death's doorstep.
But it does seem, correct me if I'm wrong, that the traditional IT department is losing some cachet power, voting power. They're less of a monolith. I mean, is the IT department at least had some fade to it, or not even?
I'm losing control over my adolescent teenage daughter, but that doesn't mean that she's not going to be vibrant and happy and productive. So I don't know whether it's IT that's losing or whether it's business that's losing control. That's the issue that people should be concerned about. IT should reinvent itself constantly. It's whether the business goals are being met or not. And businesses are going to be more dependent on technology. Companies are software-centric to a degree they haven't been, and they're going to get more so. So it's not so much whether it's old or new IT, it's whether IT is being put to productive use, and it's the type of use that you need to run your business.
So the last thing you said really stands out to me, and it's something that comes up a lot, which is it's not so much, you could argue, that the lines of business are becoming shadow IT. It's that IT is becoming their business, right? I keep pointing out these, I think we've all probably seen them, the GE commercials where the 20-something millennial says to his friends or says to his parents, like, "Hey, I got this awesome job as a developer. I'm working for GE," and they're like, "Awesome, awesome!" Right? Here's his sledgehammer or whatever. Like, but the reality is that there are many companies, whether you're in manufacturing, whether you're in pharmaceuticals, whether you're in banking, right? Most banks, you could argue today, are not places where your money gets stored. They're technology companies. And so if your business is becoming technology, why wouldn't you put the technology investment into that side of the business as opposed to a central group that's not your business? And I think that shift of most companies are becoming technology companies, whether we realize it or not. Retail, it doesn't, like, the list is endless. No matter what you do, you're pretty much becoming a technology company. Right. That's why we see the IT budget swelling inside the lines of business. It's not that IT's dead. It's just that everybody's IT now.
And so if you're going on how well you do technology, would you want to have it under strict control, a top-down hierarchy, or would you open up the floodgates a little bit and let some innovation take off organically and let different people and different groups around your company find things that might work in their personal lives and start incorporating that into their business? The companies that are going to, with all things equal, the company that wins is the one that does technology best. And therefore, you have to let it be organic and creative and chaotic. That's just a part of life. So don't think about IT as being dead. Just think about it as being a little less under control, but that's probably a good thing.
Is it less under control, though? Sorry,
And
go ahead, Gary.
company culture. Yeah, I mean this is where you get into individual companies, individual visions. But the idea of a old-fashioned corporate hierarchical structure where everything gets done planned months in advance with cycles that are predictable, that's not going to work. So IT is actually teaching the business how to be a little different by being a little bit more chaotic, being a little bit more organic, loosey-goosey. Mistakes will be made, but that's not to say that you give up all control. You need to have governance and compliance, of course. It's a balancing act, and the pendulum swings back and forth. The pendulum will swing a little bit too far towards chaos, you bring it back, but if it swings too far towards rigidity and repetitiveness for the sake of doing it the way it's always been done, then that needs to change too.
I think it also reflects the evolving role of the CIO. We've seen, in fact, I've heard anecdotal stories about how CIOs in some organizations are being completely phased out, and in some organizations, the CIO is kind of the chief innovator and the one that's, like you said, Dana, opening up those floodgates and providing the flexibility, the tools, and the resources so that innovation can thrive in those organizations. And that's why I think that the CIO, that leadership that you have within the business, I don't care if it's a bank or a manufacturer or a mining company, the CIO is in a very unique position to help guide that, or if he's not guiding it, he's going to be getting out of the way very quickly.
Right.
What is taking the place of the CIO if the chief information officer is not doing his or her job? Or who's replacing that person?
Well, like we were talking about where shadow IT has cropped up and how the line of businesses are taking ownership of their IT resources and tools that they use. That's what's happening in some organizations. But I think we're in a phase of time where there's a unique opportunity for the CIO to exercise some leadership and think about the innovation they can help enable their teams to leverage. And so it's going to be upon the CIO to take advantage of this opportunity or, again, be phased out.
Yeah, I think you see that a lot, right? Where, at least I see it, where we talk to our customers and they have a menu, right? That the IT organizations haven't evolved fast enough, and so it's still that old school menu. Here's your service catalog approach to what you can do. As long as it's in this list, go crazy. And then you have that business driver of, look, I can swipe my credit card and essentially go get anything I want these days, right? Or I can set up my own private cloud over there in some other data center and go crazy if I want. And like those choices really just weren't available, right? We talk about what cloud really has done for this industry, the accessibility of it, the smaller chunks, right? Everybody talks about automation and DevOps, and this is what's so great. No, what's really so great is I can just go get anything I need for less money than would even get flagged on my expense report. And that's what is pushing the CIO to do his or her job in a completely different way, right? You have to reset all expectations of what seems normal when the alternative is, I used to have 18 months to deliver something to the business. Now I have like 18 hours, or they just get frustrated and they go swipe their credit card somewhere.
Why is it taking so long?